What's going on, everyone? Jeremy from TheQuartering, and as I wait for my reaction to Philly's video on everything Google, I'm going to give you an actual video game video for the first time this week. It seems like I've been covering everything else.
Okay.
But World of Warcraft this week just dropped a new store mount, the Silverian Dreamer. And I've often talked about this. I am an ultra-casual World of Warcraft player.
Fucking
However,
disgusting.
it's one of the few games that I've played for many, many years. So I am very connected to the game. I play it in a really bizarre way. It may not make any sense at all to you, but I've literally never done a raid. I mean, I've never done a dungeon. I've never joined a guild.
Okay.
I didn't even know. I played all the way up to
that's
like
really
level 30
casual.
or 40.
Very, very casual.
And never even knew what a mount was. I mean, I saw them flying around, but I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know if they were NPCs or what. I just go about my day. Hey, I'm going to do a quest. That's all I do. I'm like, oh, ho, ho, I want to do a quest. And then, sometimes, I only get maybe 2 hours a day to play when I get to play it, which isn't even every day. So often, I might level up once in a week or two, and I'm like, that's what it's all about. Like, just seeing that little level up effect.
So this is a real casual
Classic,
right
by
here.
the way,
An actual
where
casual.
I'm doing the beta test right now, and I think I'm finally at level 25. I'm having a blast with it, but nonetheless.
Oh boy, okay.
A video came out yesterday where Asmongold
very casual
lost his mind over the store mount thing, and I didn't really understand it. But I think I do now. I'm going to share just a finite amount.
Wait, why would they not give this guy the beta? He's got a YouTube channel. He's got 500,000 subs. Why would they not give him the beta? Of course they're going to give him the beta. What, are you stupid? Like, yeah, he's a huge popular commentator on YouTube. Why would they not? Of course they're going to give him the beta.
Of what he had to say, and then I'm going to discuss at least.
He's not very liked among SJWs. Well, my favorite thing about people that don't like this guy, right? It's like I don't spend a whole lot of time. I'm not one of these people that like evaluate somebody's entire social resume for the past 10 years before I decide to watch one of their videos, right? I just watch the video and that's it. But it's like if the people like the SJW people don't like this guy, then why are they calling him the quarter pounder? Like, isn't that fat shaming? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what? It seems like there's a little bit of a hypocrisy going on here. Give me a fucking break. Just watch the video, consume the content, like it or not. That's a good video. Yeah, that's all there is to it. Yeah, they're fucking hypocrites. What a surprise.
Normie's perspective, what I think is going on with the mounts, and from a bigger picture, the hilarity of the timing of it all is what's more interesting to me.
But I'm just...
True.
The problem with mounts now is that there are no mounts that you can just look at and tell immediately, oh my god, this mount is amazing. Oh my god, this fucking great. That doesn't happen anymore. The problem is that these mounts come out, they happen, and then after the mounts happen, there's 8 different versions of them from all different varying difficulties. So it's like back in Wrath of the Lich King with Proto Drakes, for example. You got the red one, that means that you were a dungeon guy.
True.
You got the green one, that one was you kind of had to be really lucky. My mom got the server first.
True.
Proto Drake, by the way. You get the what was it? The blue one, you had to be really lucky for that one too. It's a dungeon drop.
True.
And then you get the black one or the plague one.
It's not the same shirt. See, it's a different shirt.
But the difficulty variance between those proto drakes was not as massive, and also the commonality, right? The frequency in which you saw the proto drakes was very low. So if you saw a proto drake, it was like, oh my god, that's a fucking proto drake. Who's riding it? But now, if you see one of these fucking bloat rays, a bloat ray, well, guess what? Nobody cares. Imagine if the glory of the Ashari Raider was that mount right there. Blizzard is selling the game short because they're trying to go for short-term profits instead of long-term gains. This is what's going to get somebody a hard kick whenever they get it out of a dungeon meta achievement or raid meta achievement.
True.
They're setting themselves
it would.
and selling themselves short.
So obviously, Asmongold is pretty fired up here.
Not happy.
And while I was
Not
streaming
happy.
last night, or maybe a little bit before, a lot of people were sending me this video, and I think I understand it. Essentially,
I hope so.
drakes or mounts are status symbols inside the game.
Absolutely.
Now, one side of the argument, in my opinion, is that it's cosmetic. It's cosmetic only. It doesn't really affect the game. So this would fall into the probably acceptable monetization. Okay,
And it would. It absolutely would. This is completely true if the game didn't have a sub fee. If you didn't have to buy for the expansions.
think that argument works in almost every case, except in World of Warcraft, where you're already paying a monthly subscription and you're paying cash for expansions. That's an insane double dip when you think about it, right?
True.
So the fact that I'm paying monthly for your game should include lifetime free updates. But when they do an expansion and now they're charging for it, they're double dipping. So they're getting your monthly and your one time. So
if only it was only double dipping.
It's particularly egregious to have a game, a microtransaction on top of that at all.
That's ridiculous.
I think that's probably where the anger is coming from.
Yeah.
And it's understandable. So when you look at
you never
his
double
tweet
dip?
about it,
I never do,
talking
actually.
about another pathetic and embarrassing way to squander the goodwill you earned with the patch. By the way, the new patch looks pretty good.
It does.
I'm so
It's great.
far from the end game because I'm just getting back into retail, and I know many of you say World of Warcraft is dead. Fine, that's cool.
Yeah,
I'm
a lot of
having
people
fun
do say
playing
that.
it, but I only get to play for a few hours a week. And that's how it is. Whatever game you're playing, if you're having fun with it, then that's cool, right? A lot of people talk about Guild Wars or Final Fantasy 14. You should play these instead. Maybe you're right. I just like World of Warcraft. I like just going my own way and doing my own little questicles. But nonetheless, he goes, when you pay for an expansion and a sub fee, you shouldn't have to pay for items too. Store mounts are a cancer to the game.
Whoa,
2 days
trigger warning.
before quarter 2 ends, by the way. And that, for me, is the really interesting topic. It's definitely a transparent effort by Blizzard Activision to increase their financial numbers right before the deadline so they can report that to their shareholders. How does this work? Well,
let me explain something right now. If you have to justify a decision that you make that affects the game with a business logic answer like, oh, it's just to make money, or oh, it's for quarter 2 or whatever, you are making a bad decision. If you can't make a decision or you can't rationalize something with an in-game positive for the players, you have already lost the connection that you have with your player base, and everything else you're going to do is going to be straight down the fucking tubes. That's all there is to it. Companies should never make profit at the expense of their own brand. It's bad business.
in order to get this mount in the store, you have to do a 6-month sub. Now,
Wow.
just like Asmongold, I already do the 6-month sub anyway.
Yeah.
The idea is you get a small discount from $89 a month. I'm sorry, $89 to $74. So if you pay for 6 months in advance, you save what? 15%. Oh, 13%. It's right there. But what happens is
$6.
World of Warcraft now
$2.01
pulls all this money forward.
$12.06.
Right? They pull all this money forward to inflate their Q2 numbers because they have a big influx of cash.
Yep.
The problem is at the end of quarter 2, going into quarter 3, all that money that they would have had then, now they've borrowed from penny to pay Paul, or whatever the saying is.
They're like, you don't worry about that. That's happening next month. We don't need to think about next month because we got to think about right fucking now. See, that's the way that these companies do things. They don't even think like, listen, they think literally like what's right in front of them. They don't even think like this. They're like this. Pay Paul. No, not that, Paul. It's what the shareholders want. I can guarantee you that if you were to explain to the shareholders the system that they're using and the way that players feel about the system and the unrest that players are feeling and the declining trust that players have with the company that they are invested in, I bet the investors would have a different perspective. The only reason that investors think this is a good idea is because they're too stupid to know any better.
You know, they've pulled it off. So now in Q3, they're going to have to do something else. So now they're going to have to come up with another amount or another reason to get you to pay up front for the game. And this is not a good system. I believe Asmongold correctly points out that mounts, while for me, for example, they're not a big deal, they are a big deal to...
It's not about their investors, not WoW players or whatever. That has nothing to do with that. If they are investors, let me ask you something. Like, it's like, I mean, if you think that, like, I don't understand, like, if you're an investor, why would you want to invest in a company that is selling themselves short constantly and alienating their core audience? Because you know, like, yes, maybe this month you're going to make money. Maybe this month you're going to make money, but what happens next month? What happens the month after that? What happens whenever inevitably a product offering comes out and the consumers don't buy it and there's a huge backlash like there was with BFA and you lose a ton of fucking money? You sell it? Oh, you sell quick, right? Because you're always going to be prepared and you're always going to sell before your stock drops. Give me a fucking break. It's a bad decision.
A lot of players, they're a status symbol, and there was a point...
Investors don't know what's going on.
When you see somebody on a cool mount, you're like, dang, how did they get that thing? And you check them out and you see what they're up to. You see maybe they're particularly good at raids, or they got really lucky on a drop. And I get that. And he talks about at the end of the video that, like, this drop is going to get somebody, you know, feeling funny in their pants because they got it. And he's 100% right. The hardcore World of Warcraft players, you know, the ones that have been subbed nonstop for many years, many are the type that really value their loot and their gear.
Absolutely.
All right? And a mount is obviously an extension of that. When you see somebody with a really rare mount, it's a really cool experience in the game, and this is where I really agree with him. So I about
right
75% agree with Asmongold, and the 25% I don't agree with is simply because I don't care that much about mounts myself, but from a business standpoint and from a feels bad, you know, imagine...
And that's fine. That's fine, because Zach, you know, my friend Zach is the same way. Like, he doesn't really care about store mounts, and I get that, right? I mean, like, the thing is, like, a lot of people make the mistake of trying to recruit every single person onto their crusade, and if any single person disagrees with them at all, they're an enemy or whatever. I get that. If you don't really care, you don't care. That's fine. Like, it's whatever. But most people can at least see where I'm coming from if I explain my concern. And that's all that I ask people to do. Just try to listen and see where I'm coming from. And I think most people do that, and it generally goes pretty well. Like, I mean, for the most part, I would say so. WoW's actually dead. The Mount Crusade. Yes, the Mount Crusade. It's more important than the Burning Crusade.
Earning a mount that anybody could just get. It would feel so bad. So he talks about, you know, what if this mount was for a particular raid in the new set? That would entice people. The problem is that doesn't entice people to give Blizzard more money. It is a goodwill gesture in the game, the type of thing that World of Warcraft did during Vanilla or Classic that kept players around. And I think he's accurately pointing out that
I think it will. I think it will actually get Blizzard to give them more money. I think it will. It's just not something that's it's not a direct cause and effect. Like, you get mount, you pay $25. It's an investment in the fulfillment of the game that's supposed to lead to a long-term relationship that the company has with the player that is going to weather the storm of bad expansions and bad patches and enjoy the good patches and good expansions. And that's really what it is. It's good. It's not just a goodwill value. It's an element of fulfillment. Why are you going to resub next month whenever you've got all of the rewards in the game this month? Having that reward to look forward to in the month after and the months following, and something to aspire to, keeps people engaged in the game. Many people that I know that have quit WoW because they reached some sort of an apex in the game, some sort of a plateau. they get to a point, they're like, oh, you know, I've done a lot of heroic raids and I don't want to join a mythic guild, it's time to take a break. I've gotten everything out of LFR and I don't want to do actual raids, it's time to take a break. Everybody reaches some sort of a plateau and then they stop playing. It's the same thing with a lot of people. And like, you can look at this phenomenon happen with like other games too. Why do people stop playing in Path of Exile, for example? Why is there so many people that play at the beginning of the league and then they drop off, you know, like maybe 2 or 3 weeks in? The reason is they reach a plateau with their gear or with their character's progression, and at that point they no longer want to continue playing because they don't want to continue doing the things and whatever, right? And it's the same with Diablo 3, except for in Diablo 3 it happens in 3 days instead of 3 weeks. And, you know, that's just the way it goes because mapping sucks. Well, it's not just about mapping, right? The point is that they reach a level, right? They're clearing 10s, they're clearing 15s, they're killing Elder, they're killing Shaper, they're killing Uber Elder or whatever. And they say to themselves, okay, I don't want to go to the next level. I'm bored, right? But usually that happens for like a time investment issue for a lot of people. For WoW, this gives them that next level. This mount is that next level. It could be that next level for a lot of people.
While it does generate cash from normies, essentially whales, players that just don't care, they see a promotion, they're like, well, you know what, I'm going to save 13% anyway, and I get the mount. In a way, it does seem harmless, but I do think that it feels bad to a section of the gaming community, a section of the World of Warcraft community that is, that really values the prestige that comes with a mount. And that prestige is something that is earned and respected amongst the game's longest and most hardcore players. So
absolutely,
I absolutely understand why Asmongold feels this way.
Absolutely.
And I do agree with him to an extent. I understand that, you know, I don't know if he goes on to mention this because it's an epic, like 1 hour rant, but at some point,
is it only 1 hour?
You know, it's not about making money for these game companies anymore. It's about making all of the money. So as scummy as it feels, I don't think we're ever going to get around this type of monetization. And the question will always be, well, what kind of microtransaction monetization is acceptable? You know, I think selling people level skips, you know, so if they want to pay $50 to have a level 100 character, I literally have no problem at all with that.
Well, here's the thing, right? There are plenty of microtransactions that Blizzard could make that would be fine for the game. Here, let me give you a few examples, okay? In my opinion, I don't think they should have ever allowed people to make all 50 of their characters on one realm. I think they should have sold extra character slots on each realm for like $5 each. And that would have allowed people to basically, it's a scaling microtransaction system that never affects actual players, but only affects like people that play the game a lot. And it gives them that option while being completely invisible to the player base. That's one thing they should have done. They could sell extra void storage slots, level skip. Wait, what? Don't give them ideas. Oh, it's too late. They can't do it again. They can't do it now. They're not going to go back. But they should have done that. Wait, why? Why is that a bad idea? Like, if microtransactions have to be in the game, all right. So let's rule out the idea that microtransactions cannot be in the game. Okay, so like, let's say they have to be in the game. What is your idea of an ideal microtransaction? Like, I'm curious. Nothing? Okay, so you guys are retarded. Okay, got it. Nothing. Okay, got it.
I think that is the type of thing that is a fine way to monetize the game. I personally, I talk about how I did that in Red Dead Redemption, how like I used the gold bar glitch in the beginning and I completely regretted it. When I came back, I think during Mists of Pandaria, I did something similar. I paid for a level 40 character, I don't remember. It was a high level character.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, this isn't fun because I didn't earn it. However, there are players who want to just play the end game content. They want to just go through the world and experience the world. And that's okay too, even though it's not me. It's clearly not Asmongold either. So I think that's why I connect with him. I respect the grind. I respect the hustle, which means if you respect these two things, then you probably also respect the prestige. And putting
that's what
store
matters. It's
mounts
the only thing that really
in
matters.
here is just not the best way to monetize. I think World of Warcraft needs to get more creative in terms of additional monetization. But
Absolutely.
also, there's the argument, and I'll wrap it up on this. Getting your existing subscribers to pay up front, to borrow from the future at a discounted rate to inflate your Q2 numbers is not how you should be thinking for this game.
No, you shouldn't. You're right.
Sub churn, right? What is the number one reason so many people are unsubbing from your game, and how can you fix that? How can you reactivate old subs? Obviously, mounts are going to be affecting neither of these. You need to be looking at why you're bleeding off players, and you need to be reaching out to the millions of X players and figuring out exactly what you can do to bring them back to the game. That is the long play. This is short-sighted, this isn't where I want Blizzard to be spending their time. I'm interested in hearing what your comments are in the comment section down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
There you fucking go, boys. There you fucking go.